Next on the list is the virus, and it's a bit different than the bacteria. I mean, it would be pretty boring otherwise, right? The virus tends to mutate much more frequently. It also has the ability to boost random mutations even more. So in an ideal run, you don't need to evolve that many symptoms on your own, because the virus gets it just right. And in a bad one, yeah, your virus is more like, yeah, well, that. In this case, just have to lead the virus a little bit. But with this strategy I'll show you, it works either way. Now the strategy is basically, as always, we start by spreading the plague. But instead of evolving a kill switch, we prepare for what's to come before we just let hell loose and let the virus go wild. It will mutate a symptom like every 10 seconds, so it will be over very fast. The only thing we have to keep in mind, we need to devolve symptoms that are lethal at the beginning because we don't want it to kill our host too fast. Now to genes, and as always, you don't need a single gene for this guide, and I did all my playthroughs without them. But if you have genes, why not use them and make it even easier? And here are my recommendations for that. First, either ATP booster or metabolic jump. The first gives you a head start, the other more genes across the whole playthrough. Then genetic mimic to keep the cure even lower, or Darwinist to get more symptoms mutated, but you have to risk to have to devolve more often then. Then there, everything is good to have, but Aquasai gets you to Greenland faster, and therefore I recommend that because Greenland. Here again, everything is nice to have. Europhile helps with Greenland. Again, Greenland. The last one, again, here every single one helps to save some DNA points, pick whatever you have. But again, it worked just as well with not a single one. Now to the actual how-to. First, we need a good name. Perfect. Then again, as always, I'm just using Metabolic Hijack, which pops bottles without me having to click, and that's because I'm lazy and it makes recording easier, okay? It doesn't benefit me in any way, so no mean comments for that, right? Then start in Saudi Arabia, and the first thing to evolve after a bit of waiting is Air 1. Then followed by more waiting, and then Air 2. More waiting, Water 1, waiting, Water 2, and finally Extreme Biorehearsal. Meanwhile, the virus will mutate symptoms, which is all good, except for when it mutates a lethal one. In this case, you have to devolve it. Otherwise, the cure progression will start right there and it will start to go fast, so devolve that symptom. Then evolve Drug Resistance 1 and Cold 1 and 2, followed by Drug Resistance 2. Do not lose Canada. That's already all for the spreading phase. Now we have to prepare and therefore evolve Genetic Hardening 1 and 2, so that the scientists really have to work for it. Then we wait. Again. We want that virus to spread for a bit before we start killing people left and right. So wait until the cure is about 30% or Greenland gets infected, whatever happens first. During this, devolve lethal symptoms. Thereafter, we finish this by getting ourselves Survivor, Instability 1, 2 and 3. And now the fun part begins. But we want to have the deadly expensive symptoms mutated and not the cheap ones, right? That's why we just buy the cheap ones in the corner first, to force the virus to get the more spicy ones. Now we have more than enough time, but in the case that the virus is still not deadly enough by the time the whole map is red, get total organ failure. And in the case of the cure reaching above 80%, just use genetic reshuffling. Then in the end, shortly before the whole world is dead, use genetic reshuffle 1, 2 and 3 if you haven't used them yet, and symptoms like coma or insanity to crush the cure progression, just for the fun of it. And there you go! That's the virus on Brutal. Alright, I hope this was helpful. If so, of course, let me know by liking the video. If you like this type of video in general, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments whether you got the Terminator or the baby virus. And see you on the next video. Bye bye.